listen, we can't do a comic podcast because there's about 17 better comic podcasts out there.
We also
Mostly
can't because
X-Men.
I now know nothing about comics because I've been out of the hobby for so long, and I only kind of dip my toes. So like even then, I can't fall back on what I already know.
I mean, that tends to be really fun though when we start talking about comics and we throw some wild out there, and Ben's just like, "What?"
I'm like,
I mean, God, Ben, are you aware of what they did to Punisher most recently with Baby Thanos? Speaking of baby Marvel characters.
Well, because the thing with comics is I've read enough and I've been in the space enough to know most of these characters, most of these storylines, and most of these names, at least like the big ones. And then you throw some shit at me like Baby Thanos and the Punisher, and I'm just like, hold the fuck up.
That's within like the last 3 or 4 years. Yeah, Punisher died, and he made a deal with Mephisto and became Ghost Rider. But then
Punisher became.
But then he made a deal with Galactus.
Know this. I've been reading very select books in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, so Punisher was Ghost Rider, and then he made a deal with Galactus, and he became a Herald of Galactus, and so he became Cosmic Ghost Rider. And there was something going on. I don't remember what, but I have a Cosmic Ghost Rider bike sitting on my desk.
Marvel will do anything to not use the Silver Surfer.
Jesus Christ. Alright, we gotta talk about Star Wars, don't we?
Decade of goddamn MCU movies, and you didn't give me fucking Lady Death one time. Why was Death not a character? It's the best aspect of Thanos' fucking character.
I mean, yeah, it is, but it's also way funnier to use Death in Deadpool. Because if I was in charge of the MCU, I would say fuck Thanos. I would do the fucking story where Thanos follows around like a 10-year-old throughout their entire life. That would be what it... You know what? Maybe I'm too hard on Kevin Feige, because if I ran the MCU, I would do way stupider shit.
I mean, that's pretty much how it went down in the original Infinity Gauntlet, too. That was like, okay, you killed a bunch of people, but, like, that's my job?
I'm not interested, bro. I'm really into Deadpool. Like, it's just the way it is. You gotta get over it.
I have one request with, like, Daredevil being welcomed back into MCU canon, and we're gonna get Bullseye again at some point. Yeah, fuck that new costume. The yellow looks horrible.
I'm not against them doing the yellow, but I am against that specific yellow for sure.
I have one request, and I need them to make it an entire Disney Plus series. There was an issue of Deadpool. It was right around like the newer.
This is making us sound like way bigger Deadpool fans than we actually are.
I'm a big Deadpool. I was a big fan of Deadpool before he got oversaturated and everything.
Yeah.
I had my time with Deadpool.
But there was an issue where it was Bullseye, who was Hawkeye at the moment. It was during Dark Avengers. Bullseye and Deadpool were trying to kill each other, and it was just Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. It was like, it was incredible. It's one of my favorite issues of a comic book of all time. Or just do that, please. Make that a whole Disney Plus series. We gotta talk about Star Wars.
Good.
We gotta talk about
Star Wars. We do have to talk about Star Wars. Hi, and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week, The Last Jedi. Are we sufficiently done spitting up water? Yeah, that's the hardest I've gone into an intro in a long time, huh?
I thought we were gonna have a little more fishing for an intro, and you were just like, "Nah, we're fucking doing it."
If I didn't do it there, we would never get there. Ben, how's your watch?
Oh, this movie fucking sucks.
This movie does fucking suck.
I loved it, but it fucking sucks. I loved laughing at the movie this week.
That's the best way to do it at this point.
Yeah.
I did not laugh at this time. Chris, how was your watch?
I laughed occasionally.
We laughed. We cried. We watched Star Wars.
All of these are emotions I am incapable of having watching most of these movies most of the time now.
It's only a matter of time before we're all fucking robots.
I'm already there. I got my second COVID booster, like the 4th shot, and I watched most of this movie while shivering from a fever. So it was a bad watch, but at least I got it out of the way at a time where that was the least worst part of what was happening.
Most of the reason this watch sucked, because I actually got to, not that I didn't pay attention to this movie, but the movie just kind of happened as I was there this week. Because I literally watched this movie either the day after or 2 days after I got done watching the movie we recorded last week. So I was like, fuck it. We do it.
We recorded that last episode on Monday, and then we recorded this one on that same week, Friday. So it's The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
We're on The Last Jedi. I have a note at the beginning. Is this
the last one, though?
Can we not with the bad puns? At this point,
that wasn't even a pun.
We've now reached the point where we haven't watched these movies more than most people. But I would say we've watched this movie more than about half of the Star Wars fans have in their entire lives.
We've absolutely watched these movies more than
No, I would not.
These ones, the sequels. I guarantee yeah.
Absolutely the sequels. I thought that's what you meant, just the sequels. But Star Wars in general, no. The sequels, absolutely.
I know people, and I especially did this when I didn't have cable when I was a kid. Some people just watch these movies in the background the same way that Chris watches The Office, and it's just again and again and again and again and again. So I know that there's a pretty decent portion of the Star Wars
community
that has watched these way more than us. So I refuse to say we've watched it more than most people, but at least 50% we've watched it more than. At least.
I'd say more than. I'd venture to say more than, but
I would suspect that is not the case. But
I would like to not.
I think most of the Star Wars
to form an opinion on.
I think most of the Star Wars fan base watches the movies occasionally, but not to the. Cause you got to think. Before this project, we were Star Wars fans, and so we have consumed these movies a healthy amount before even this podcast.
Yeah, like I said, I used to watch them when I didn't have cable, they'd just be constantly in. So I know I watched those movies more than I have in the last 2 years, but boy, is this one weighing on me more.
The last few years before we started this podcast, I think I was watching the movies maybe once every 6 months. I would go through and
all of them, or just
yeah, all of them. I would do all of them, but
so how I play BioWare games.
I would still occasionally. It's also what I do with the Fable games. I would still if something was on TNT or whatever, I would just be yeah, fuck it, I would watch that,
Can we talk about Fable instead? I'd love to talk about Fable.
Talk about Fable.
Never played
Don't playground games.
I actually don't like 2 or 3. 2 is fine. I really don't like 3. But they are the games that both of my parents got invested in playing, and my parents didn't play games before that, and my dad just plays New Vegas on a loop now.
I was about to stop you. I was about to point out your dad went on a whole diatribe about New Vegas the one time I was there.
I mean, it's the one video game he plays. Occasionally he'll put in Fallout 3 and be like, it's not the same. I'm like, you're not wrong.
Same.
But yeah, the Fable games were what got my parents into playing games, and so I'd rather talk about the Fable games, but in fact we cannot.
I would also rather talk about the Fable games. Big fan.
I've never played a Fable game. I would also rather talk about the Fable games, though.
I love Fable 1. Both of my parents hate Fable 1.
Really?
I think it's the not having the gun, to be honest. I think they just enjoyed. I
can see that. It's also very, very, very
snappier.
different.
It's a snappier game, yeah.
I mean, besides which I don't know my opinion on it still, and I haven't done a full playthrough on it. Like the newer version of like the remaster of Fable 1 they did essentially. That's like
I haven't
prettied up
the
and
remaster yet.
they redid the control scheme so it plays like 2 and 3, and I don't know how I feel about it.
It does, to me. It feels better.
I like 2. I like the second one a lot.
It's fine.
I'd say, you know, right around the same amount, if not just slightly less than the first one.
It's the Mass Effect 3 ending all over again. That's what Fable 2 is. It's like you can have 3 different colors and one of them brings your dog back. I'm like, well, what am I going to choose? A ton of money? The lives of all the people who died natural deaths because of the villain, or my dog that you killed game?
Well, I think it also
I know
brings
what the
back,
right decision is.
Doesn't it also bring back like your spouse and like children?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never felt like I was playing like an actual morality game with Fable 2. It just felt like, I don't know. I was a bad person in the Fable games, and I didn't feel bad for it. Meanwhile, if you give me a BioWare game, I am physically incapable of being a bad person in those games now that I'm adult.
I was playing Mass Effect 2 recently because of the the remasters being put out, and I said to my wife at one point, like, I just need a fuck off button. Like, the game wouldn't let me be as much of a dick as I wanted to be.
No, that's not Mass Effect.
I was like, come on, man, I just want to be like a total fucking ass. I want to be Han Solo, but in this sci-fi property. I want to be Han Solo written by like George R.R. Martin. That's what I want.
Speaking of Han Solo, we should talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, I've been trying to get back to that subject for a little bit now. The point being, I swear I had a reason that these came up.
There was a point? There's a point to any of this?
There was a point, and
I don't think there's a point to any of this, Jay. This is a pointless podcast we run, and we love it.
You make a good point.
You make a good point here on this
point that I lost when we talked about all these other points.
The podcast is imploded. Ben made a good point on the pointless podcast.
Hold on. Just hold on one sec. Hello?
Hello.
No.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
No, I don't have the money. Sure you do. I don't have the podcast hasn't worked out yet. I don't have the money. Major, I don't have the money.
I think Jay's getting whacked.
I don't want to. These are so small. Why? Okay. Oh. All right, I'll talk about it, but I'm not gonna have the money. We're not gonna. Okay. All right. Just no. Don't. Okay.
It sounded like a decent enough major merchandise interaction. Ben's kung fu fighting the air.
There's been a fly in my room for the past half hour, and it's dive bombing me repeatedly.
Okay, who's going to attack me? Jay is getting assaulted on one end. There's a fly attacking Ben, huh?
Major merchandise has arrived from Planet Walmart. And it's 2 very small things, which was a very aggressive intro for major merchandise for this particular.
I'll have you know, major merchandise is a stand-up individual.
What Eldritch packs did you make with major merchandise?
Nothing involving my firstborn.
I'm sorry, my grandchild? You promised my grandchild to major merchandise?
Nothing involving my firstborn. Don't worry about it.
All right, so these are two small things. Two smaller things. The first one is actually very small, but I felt like it needed to be noted, just for the sake of, this is somehow merch.
Yes, this is somehow merch is like my favorite way it's been described. What the fuck?
I'm gonna open Spotify.
So I want you to, I'm gonna read it.
Y'all. Okay.
I'm gonna read it.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The oversized Galaxy chunky knit throw is ultra soft and coordinates with all of the Star Wars bedding collections. This generously sized, hand-knitted I mean, first of all, Disney, if you're putting it out, it was not hand-knitted. Don't lie to us. This generously sized, hand-knitted, super sumptuous throw is weighty with a fluffy loft to envelop you in cozy comfort that feels safe no matter which part of the galaxy you're in. What's the most distinguishable thing about this goddamn mess? First of all...
Can I, real quick... It's a goddamn blanket, y'all. It's just...
It's a throw blanket.
Just a goddamn blanket. There's no stitching, there's no embroidery, there's no photo, there's no pattern, there's no nothing that would give you the impression that this was in any way.
It is a beige blanket. Beige. Just solid
and
color.
It's $129.
Yep, it is $130.
It's $130. And it has no insignia, no logo, no nothing. And it looks like, and here's a
fucking ball into a Bed Bath & Beyond, and it'd fucking land on something that looked just like that.
So, yeah, I was just insulted that this is being sold as Star Wars merch. It's also not the only one. There's black and blue separate pages for these, and apparently white.
I was going to say, it looked like there were other colors.
And the fucking audacity of it.
Look, the audacity of capitalism.
I was going to say, welcome to late stage capitalism. This is Star Wars somehow.
So, there's that.
I mean, that is Star Wars.
I mean, you're not wrong.
There is a second one. And this is just on principle.
It's a blank fucking pillowcase.
No, it's very different. But it's a principle thing with me. And I suspect I will be alone in hating this. But it's just on fucking principle.
I'm uncomfortable.
Thank you.
This is the... Oh, God, Jay, you've given me a gift today. This is the first time I get to say this sentence. As a father, I'm deeply uncomfortable.
So, dear audience, I want you to imagine a white shirt with, like, blue horizontal stripes spaced, like, pretty evenly. It looks like a sheet of, like, notebook paper, and on it is drawn just a bunch of like little Death Stars, TIE fighters, and like Stormtrooper and Vader helmets, like doodled on, like some kid doodled in their notebook. And in the center of the shirt, in gigantic red bold font, it says, "Dear Vader, I want to join the Empire." It's not Comic Sans.
It's Comic Sans.
It is not. Everything I type, I write in Comic Sans. I know Comic Sans very well.
What does it say,
says, then? "Dear Vader, I want to join the Empire."
Can I please read the product details?
Oh yes.
Yes, please do.
I am still terrified of product details because of that one that we found.
I'm glad this is eliciting the same reaction that I hoped it would.
Oh, yeah.
So in the product details, it says, in quotations, "Dear Vader, I want to join the Empire," is scrawled on a notepad striped ringer tee, also covered in crudely drawn symbols of the Sith Lord. And then my favorite sentence is the final one. "Expose your younglings' questionable ambitions with this summary style."
Expose your younglings' questionable ambitions with this summary style. So just to make it abundantly clear, this is not just a kid's t-shirt. This is very clearly marketed at toddlers and bubbies. And it says, "Dear Vader, I want," with a background that looks like a kid's notebook. And it says, "Dear Vader, I want to join the Empire." How much have we lost the fucking plot here? And I'm not saying this is Disney's fault either, because George would also sell this.
No, I think it's Disney's fault.
I was
know
gonna
that
say
he
George
would.
had so much time to sell this and didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that George would. I feel like weirdly, this would potentially
George,
be a thing that George would look at and go, mm-mm.
I have a portfolio of, not a portfolio, but I have a few things that are saved from the prequel era merch. And I promise you, there's some shit that is nearly or equally as bad as this. George also lost the plot. But that does not defeat the point that the difference between that and Disney is that George still had limited resources, although it was still incredibly strong resources that were so powerful that you'd see it in every fucking thing in Walmart. But Disney has a wider reach of merch output. And this is being seen by even more people than something that he would have been seen by. This is, on principle, deeply fucking disgusting to me. They are the space fascists.
Yep,
and
nothing
you want
says
to sell this to a 3-year-old.
Nothing says I'm raising my kid right, like putting them in a T-shirt that says "Let's go space Nazis."
Yeah.
I gotta find it. Pretty sure Dave Filoni had a very topical quote about Vader. I don't want to fuck it up. It was during a Rebels Q&A, apparently back in like 2018. He, I'm gonna quote Dave Filoni now. It's quote, stop thinking of the dark side as some pathway to power. That's the Emperor lying to you. It's destructive. Darth Vader's miserable. He lost everything. He has no one in his life, absolutely nothing until his son comes back and says, I love you. Other than that, his life is a wreck. It's not the way you want to live your life. I see a lot of adoration. I get the bad guys are cool, but they are evil. You really don't want to be them.
Yeah.
And then Disney goes, now fuck you, Dave. Here's this kid's T-shirt.
Children's T-shirt. This toddler's fucking T-shirt.
So that was
oh god.
That was Merge Corner. I'm glad that second one elicited the emotions that I hoped it would, because I thought I might be out there.
I don't know if I want to wake up on this planet tomorrow after seeing that.
That's right. You almost got a fucking you almost got like a Brennan Lee Mulligan rant out of me about the blanket, so
I'm tired of capitalistic hellscapes.
No, I'm just sad. I'm sad about the entirety of that merch corner. I can't believe Disney is selling a $125 blanket. That's just literally just a blanket.
No, Chris, I have to point out that you're wrong.
It's 130.
130.
Forgive me.
Jesus Christ.
Forgive me for my incorrect pricing on our overlords products.
I'm a little worried because Major Merchandise wants money, and I don't know how to tell him that we haven't made $1 single on this podcast. In fact, we've lost money on this podcast.
Maybe one of my favorite quotes to ever come out of the podcast is just in a very worried tone, I think Major Merchandise wants money.
We have lost money on this show. That is how this show has generally
It's
worked.
a hobby.
It's a hobby. You put money into a hobby.
The hobby. Bad Star Wars takes on a weekly basis while watching way too much Star Wars.
This podcast is my only relatively cheap hobby.
For you, maybe.
Hey, look, D&D's not a terribly expensive hobby. I think I'm averaging like maybe $30 a year on D&D right now. Well, no, I guess I'm paying for Roll20. I was just thinking about buying the books occasionally when there's something
Ben
cool.
also plays it way less than we do.
That's true. But when we did play it often, I dumped a bunch of money into like miniatures, and I was a bit of a dice goblin.
I can't believe you lost that boat. It upsets me so much.
Just on Roll20 alone, I spend about $60 a year. That's a depressing stat.
So the way I look at these major merchandise segments is it's like an old school ceremonial sacrifice. I sacrifice part of my soul to present this merch, and then I get some relative peace for hopefully more than a couple weeks. And this time it was a significant amount of time. We have stabbed Disney merch at the altar, and hopefully major merchandise does not show back up at my door for a little bit.
It would be great if sticking that merch in front of the altar, any money came from that at any point. We're just out here advertising bad products for free. But the good news is we get to talk shit about them because of that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know if advertising is the right word. It's close.
Weird.
I don't know if it's the right one.
No. We're obviously marketing these things that we constantly dunk on to our 8 fans. Please never buy anything. I can't say too much.
I legit did buy something off of major merchandise once.
Yeah, you disgust me. You disgust me.
I disgust me too. It's fine.
Every time I walk into your kitchen, it's just like, why has this happened?
My kitchen?
Yeah, your kitchen. You have a... Oh, that's the apron. I'm thinking of the apron.
I was going to say, I don't keep a shower head in my kitchen, Jay. I don't know what kind of kitchens you got over there.
Yeah, but luckily the shower head isn't connected, and I consider that a big win.
Did you never end up getting the pizza cutter?
No, I didn't.
Pizza cutter. Yeah. Yeah, the shower head is no longer connected, and I consider that a...
Yeah, I lost one of the pieces for it when I moved.
Dang.
What kind of a piece?
It's just the mount. I could get a replacement real easy.
Oh, okay.
I need to point out something really quickly.
Yes.
So I doubt you've heard it, but there has been lots of sound happening in my room, or from my background. And what's happening currently right now is my 60-year-old father and my 32-year-old sister just yelling Pikachu over and over again.
Pikachu! Pikachu!
I have questions, but
I don't
honestly,
have answers.
It's funnier this way.
I don't have answers.
Just because I have questions, and Jay's just like, well, that sucks for you.
My dad doesn't know, other than the time that he cheated a hook claw machine when I was a little kid. So I guess he actually does remember Pikachu very, very much, where he spent 3 hours cheating a hook claw machine to get me a Pikachu I still have. I was like 8 and I was upset. I don't think my dad knows what a Pokemon is. And my sister hasn't played it since she was like 8. So I'm very confused. So that's a little piece of randomness.
Maybe they're playing Pokemon Go and your house is infested with Pikachus.
I doubt that sincerely. So I have a couple of notes, but the big one that I want to point out, because it tells you just generally how excited I was to watch this movie, is my first note is, where's Han / Kylo transition good, I guess. No punctuation, no commas, no nothing. Where's Han / Kylo transition good, I guess.
No, I could get behind that.
The where's Han and then transition,
and then it immediately transitions to
Never let it be said that Rian Johnson
trying to figure out what that string of words meant together. I was like, what?
Never let it be said that editing room Rian Johnson is not very intelligent when it comes to some of his transitions. I have a new favorite character.
Oh?
My new favorite character is the guy driving the gorilla AT-AT with Hux and Kylo Ren in it. That is my new favorite character in the movie.
Kylo Ren's ship, you mean?
No.
Yes.
Actually, no, I guess it would be the ship.
I
guess it would be the ship. See, for some reason, I always think it's the AT-AT, but then I forget that they're on the ship. Whatever. That guy. Because that guy acts like he took 3 Xanaxes before leaving. Like he felt the shock of the ship getting stripped in 2, and then took 3 Xanaxes and got in the ship with Kylo and Hux. And that man cannot be shaken. That man reacts to nothing.
One of the best scenes in the movie. Fucking Kylo absolutely decks Hux into the side of the ship, and he's like, "Yep, nope, on your way, sir."
He
does not
scared.
give a fuck.
He's not scared. He does not shake. He's getting screamed at the entire time. He watches a man gets shot by 1,000,000 laser bolts from 17 or 18 AT-ATs, and his reaction to him walking out is just going, "Sir." That's his only reaction. He does not react in any other way. There's no facial change. There's no change in tone. Like a man that has over-prepared by taking a lot of anti-anxiety pills, he just goes, "Sir."
Either that or just like being I imagine that he is like Kylo Ren's like goddamn chauffeur. So he's just so desensitized to all the shit that goes on that he's just like, yep, nope, this is happening now.
This happened.
Like he's so goddamn good at his job that he's the only one Kylo hasn't like killed in a fit of rage.
Yeah, he's so used to like the less elegant Darth Vader style that Kylo tries to do, where he just like throws a hissy fit and kills people instead of just like threateningly choking them. He's so used to his coworkers just dying, and he's been around so long, he's just like, yeah, all right.
He does.
Now, Ben,
He does.
Don't ruin it, and don't Wikipedia it. What's this guy's name? We have to give this guy a name. He's a character now.
Jeremy.
Jeremy?
No, I'm gonna fight hard against Jeremy.
Why?
Because I had a bit of Ben lore.
Ben Lore?
About a year
Ben
ago
Lore.
now.
I hate all Jeremys.
I had an extremely conspiracy theory homophobic coworker named Jeremy.
He works for the First Order.
Yeah, but like,
But Ben
don't
likes
do this to me, Jay.
first
Don't,
Okay,
I
it's not
don't like
Jeremy.
this First Order guy.
My
I'm
name was almost
sympathetic
Jeremy.
to
apparently.
traumatized First
Your name
Order
was
guy.
almost Jeremy?
My name was almost Jeremy, yeah. That was one of the names that my parents almost named me.
I don't know what my other names would have been. What's this guy's name?
I know.
No, I don't want to know what his name is, Ben. That's the point. We're making him a character
I'm
on
saying
Star Wars
what name
forever.
are we giving him is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say he gives off the kind of vibes that a babysitter sitting in a room, like a babysitter who's at an elderly
1000%.
age, that now, it's just she knows like them as adults with kids, and they're throwing a little bit of a hissy fit and is entirely unbothered because she's fucking put bandages on their skinned knees and like is entirely unbothered by them being angry or
Is
anything
so
like that.
used to tantrums and shit.
So I like to think that this guy used to work for Han and Leia, but like was like dad nanny
Was
to
a
Kylo.
nanny, yeah.
That's my new headcanon, is this is dad nanny. I'm sure that there's a it doesn't have, I'm sure there is a non-gendered or a male-gendered version of that. I do not know it, but I'm sure my new headcanon is that he used to babysit a young Kylo and has just sort of like seen him grow up and it's just like, yeah, this is just how he is. It doesn't bother me. He can't fucking scare me. I don't care. Oh, you threw your buddy there. You threw your coworker there at the wall. That seems like a little bit of an overreaction, don't you think? And Kylo just goes, yeah. Are you gonna go kill that Luke Skywalker, or are you gonna keep ragdolling that guy? I'm gonna go kill Luke Skywalker. What'd you say? I'm gonna go kill Luke Skywalker. Okay, buddy, go get it. I'm bringing us in.
God, I'm drawing such a blank right now.
What? So the bad Robin Williams movie, where he pretends he's the nanny. What is his name in that? That is not the let's face it, mostly transphobic name that he goes by when he's babysitting the kids. Because that would be a good name. I've decided
That's all on Chris because
I've talked myself out of it.
That's fair.
I don't remember.
Can we talk about that movie? That movie is fucking wild.
I love that movie. I've seen that movie so many times, and I'm drawing a blank on
It's
what his name is.
rough watch now.
I
Isn't
also
it
haven't
just called
seen
Miss?
it in years, so
It's called Miss Doubtfire.
Yeah, I just don't know
I
what
didn't
it
know
is.
if you
Doubtfire.
wanted. I didn't know if you wanted the name in the episode because I know you.
No,
Tend
I'm
to
gonna
like
I'm gonna cut this all out, but fuck it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mrs. Doubtfire is a wild movie because it's just a deadbeat dad that decides to get close to his kids
Oh, yeah.
by pretending to be their fucking nanny.
It's horrifying. It's horrific.
It's the same as School of Rock, where you might like it as a kid,
types
but
of crimes.
if you watch it as an adult, it's not like when you watch it as a kid. It's like, oh my god, this is fucked. Oh my god. It just needs to be thrown in the trash. The whole idea needs to be thrown in the garbage and the garbage can lit on fire.
Well, that comes from the whole mid-90s, like, oh, haha, man in woman clothing, so funny, right? And it's like, why do you think this is funny?
Anyway, none of this is going to be in the episode.
Yeah, we should get back on track, back on the rails.
Nope.
So, we can't call him any version of Stormtrooper names that we've used in the past.
Tim
kind of works. I know
Tim
a
works.
lot of the unbothered Tims. Most of them were also scumbags, but he works for a First Order. So he works for the First Order, so it makes sense. Tim kind of works. But we aren't going to try to give him like a really bad Star Wars name.
I'm bad at Star Wars names.
Like,
Why would we give him a bad Star Wars name? We've been calling stormtroopers Gary and Larry and
yeah, but he's not a
fucking.
stormtrooper. Like Bartholomew Zanexia, or
Isn't that a little too close to Balthazar?
I do like Balthazar Zanexia.
Damn, he could be a distant relation to Lando.
That's what I'm saying. Balthazar is taken. Isn't that a little too close to? Did you say Bartholomew?
Bartholomew. When has names been okay? I don't. Is this entertaining for you all at home? I'm struggling to come up with
Us
those.
just drawing a total blank on our usual like
I'm
Mad
just-
Libs of Star Wars names.
Look, audience, to be real with you, it's the weekend. I'm super duper high. I have no idea how long we've been recording. I barely know where I am right now. I don't know what's going on anymore.
So to transition desperately out of this
The
failed
episode
attempt
we were
at,
barely able to release.
I think Tim works. Tim works. It's Tim. It's Uncle Tim. Uncle Tim who definitely babysat Kylo Ren. I'm pulling the cord on this bit.
You're pulling the cord on Uncle Tim? No.
Just like Kylo probably would.
Just like Kylo probably would. Let's be serious here.
Kylo would want to, but he wouldn't have the fucking balls to do it.
Unless it. Listen,
He would want to do it. He just wouldn't know if he would have the strength to do it.
to do. So during this watch, I was struck by yeah. What?
Hold on, I need to bring us kicking and screaming back into this because now I'm just
No,
imagining.
I pulled the cord
Now-
on Uncle
Now
Tim.
I'm just
His life
imagining.
support is failing.
I'm giving him CPR because now I'm just imagining.
He has a
fucking
do not resuscitate on the wall.
It's too late. I'm already doing it. I'm just imagining Uncle Tim in Han Solo's place in The Force Awakens.
Okay, all right, maybe. All right. We've got. He's on life support. We might have saved him, but this
Like,
is temporarily.
This Han Solo walks out and he very emotionally yells, "Ben!" I'm just imagining Uncle Tim being like, "Ben."
Ben. Him up right in front of Kylo Ren, just like, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. And he just puts it in. He doesn't even go in, do
He
any
just pats his cheek instead
just,
of holding his hand there.
No, that's way too familial. He holds up very awkwardly and just pats his shoulder 3 times with extreme spaces, and then the lightsaber ignites, and you show Kylo near crying, and him just with a blank face, it's like how Mike dies in Breaking Bad, just oh,
He 1,000% calls Kylo Ren sport when no one's around.
But it's like in that like passive aggressive, you know, those people that you have that you know that like their tone never changes, but they're the funniest fucking people you'll ever meet because their dry sarcasm and their dry wit is better than most people that you know that try to be funny.
Friend of the
Just
show,
like,
Redacted?
Yeah. He just looks over at him, and after he's like he's sitting in the corner after he like totally breaks apart the chair in Force Awakens, and he goes, "Was that really necessary, sport? You made a little bit of a mess on the floor, sport."
And you're 1,000% right. The only reason he does it is because that would piss Kylo Ren off so fucking much.
It's passive aggressive as fuck. Way to go, Ben. I'm proud of you. You saved Uncle Tim's life. You put him back on life support, and you gave him the dignity.
Just like I bring back pod racing.
You gave him the dignity of a good death.
Nothing dies.
The other thing that I got from this watch, you know that clip? Probably Chris would be the only one that knows this clip of 50 Cent going,
"Fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
I imagine that clip after Luke said it was a Jedi that was responsible for the training and making of Darth Vader. I got this image of like Obi-Wan Kenobi just like in the background, like 50 Cent going, "What the fuck did I do?" That was the other big one for me this watch. And those were all of my very sick revelations. Sick revelations. No, like, deeply sick.
Fucking guitar riff.
Chris, make me a guitar riff.
Oh, shit. All right.
This work makes itself.
Oh, no, I do have one more note. The only other thing I said is that the letting the horses go scene doesn't really have an emotional impact, even if you don't mind that sub arc, because that's an island.
Yeah, they 1,000% recapture the Fathers.
Those Fathers were like recaptured like
immediately
before midnight, like
before they even left atmosphere.
Yeah.
About releasing the horses, and Goodbye Horses just started playing immediately in my head, and I can't get stopped.
As the official herald of everything bad news about the Star Wars community, this week in Hissy Fits of the Star Wars community, everyone's
I don't
flipping
turn
out.
that into a bit. I don't.
It's my job now apparently, because this is like the third week in a row I'm doing this.
Are you making a guitar riff right now, Chris?
No, I gave you a guitar riff. There it was. You're welcome.
I didn't hear it, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
Apparently everyone's freaking out because a Star Wars novel may have alluded to the fact that Obi-Wan is bisexual.
Oh yeah, I did see this.
And the fan base is collectively losing their shit because gays exist.
Listen. Obi-Wan's always been bi. Let's be serious here.
Yeah,
that is not a straight man.
The way I phrased that was very specific, as the fan base realized that Obi-Wan was bisexual.
He has always been queer-coded, so, like, we've been new. We've been new. Like, his most famous line is going, "Hello there." Like, let's be serious here for a second. We've been new. Although, on this subject, I don't want to spend much time on this particular subject, because I don't want to spend any amount of time talking about the dark corners of the Star Wars fandom that seem to infect the majority.
And not in like a negative way, but I feel like we're one of the dark corners of the Star Wars fandom.
Yeah, but we're like off in one corner, and then the other side is like this Cthulhu-esque spreading of madness. Being. And we're just like one little corner of just like, this is fucking weird.
We're just one little corner of madness.
We're just off in the corner doing some stupid shit, and occasionally we look over and the rest of the room's on fire.
What's
the rest of the room's on fire, and it's like we just look back. It's all right, quick. What's the name of the fucking driver of that ship?
Is it the Yellow King? What's the you would know this, Ben.
Yeah.
The Yellow
I actually
King?
don't know. Yeah, the Yellow King is the one. What are you trying to get at? Is what I'm.
We're like a small subsect of madness, and the rest of the nonsense is just Cthulhu, just spreading through the Earth populace at breakneck fucking speed. But we're just like our own weirdness off in the corner, very small.
Yeah. So I see what you're trying, because like the Yellow King is like allegedly, depending on what you follow, is like a brother kind of Cthulhu, where he just has this.
Oh, we are talking about Lovecraft.
This symbol, yeah, he has this symbol that like when you see it, you kind of get like brainwashed into trying to spread this symbol as much as possible.
Or in our case,
it's always through,
watching
like,
Star Wars every week forever.
Yeah, but it's always through like weird, obscure, tiny artists, and like, you know, your typical like the way things spread in Lovecraft.
Big Sandman comic vibes.
I've never read a Sandman comic.
Good series. Yeah, like we're a very strange, like distant other corner to that nonsense. But I don't want to spend too much time on those psychopaths. What I do want to spend.
I was gonna say, while we're kind of adjacent to Lovecraft, I just want to say real quick, fuck Lovecraft.
Fuck Lovecraft. While we're kind of like talking about the Star Wars community, I'd like to go from one set of psychopaths to another set of psychopaths, and that's the Wikipedia Twitter. Can we talk about the Wikipedia Twitter for a second right now?
Sure.
I don't know if this is gonna stay in because we recently interacted with them, and this is
there might potentially
be
one listening to this right now.
This is like Smite Me Almighty Smiter and
hey,
Bruce Almighty.
Potentially Wikipedia connected person. How you doing? You having a good time? You ready to not?
So Wikipedia didn't do anything on their Twitter for a long time, and then it got taken over by rogue ex-MAGA admins, and then they made a new Twitter, and they have since been way more active on this particular Twitter. And so what they've decided to do with this Twitter is just tweet the intros to Wikipedia articles, not like links.
Just the intros?
So, for example,
oh no.
Just to show how much thought they put into this particular subject. On August 5th, Wikipedia tweeted, Darth Sidious, born Chief Palpatine, and also known simply as the Emperor, was a human male Dark Lord of the Sith and Emperor of the Galactic Empire, ruling from 19 BBY to 4 ABY canon. And it shows a picture of Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker. 12 hours later, they tweeted, Anakin Skywalker was a human male who was a Jedi Knight and the prophesized chosen one of the Jedi Order. Do you see the problem here?
Damn. They're really using all their resources to bring attention to all the obscure bits of lore.
Not only is this like just the basics of the basics. Oh, and the next one they did the next day, by the way, was Ahsoka Tano. And then they tweeted just Beelert Valance and nothing else.
Vader, look how much.
And then the next one they tweeted was Darth Plagueis. And then the next day they tweeted Beelert Valance again, but the actual description in
there's a real big Blurt the Lance fan who's running the weird Wikipedia Twitter right now.
And then there's a tweet that they made that made me laugh really hard.
Weird Wikipedia. Jesus Christ, excuse me.
There's a tweet that they made that made me laugh really hard. That's just, why, internet? Why? These are our top searched terms the last 30 days. And at the top of the picture that they made is the word breast with 5,433.
My God.
And I wanted to tweet that out with a retweet and just say,
You have done that yourself.
You are responsible for that. That is a thing you did.
I would quote tweet that with just a clip of us talking about the breasts Wikipedia article.
That fucking article.
I think we ended up praising them in that because when you go to it, it's fucking Kylo Ren.
No, it's not. Is it? Oh, in canon it's Kylo, but in Legends it's Anakin.
Yeah. Yep.
What?
Yeah, remember we went down this rabbit hole maybe third rotation, fourth rotation.
It's in the supercut.
What?
Is it in the supercut? I ain't watched the whole supercut. I watched most of it.
Please watch the whole supercut. It would make me very happy. I put a lot of work into it.
I just watched this recently.
I'm very
confused. I just watched this bit and I totally forgot about it, and then I watched the supercut and there it was.
I'm very confused. I have no idea what's going on.
So for anyone who isn't aware, there's a whole big controversy with Wikipedia, like back in the day, because they had an article about breasts.
Oh yeah.
And it had
I thought you were saying. Yeah.
It had like a Rule 34 picture of fucking. Was it? I forget which character it was. It was one of the female Twi'lek characters. We're already over sexualized. It was Aayla Secura, yes. Now, when you go to the article, there is a Canon and Legends tab, and the Legends tab is the episode 2 shot when Anakin gets out of bed because he just got done having nightmares about his mom dying.
So, like, here's the thing. I thought you were saying that the Legends version of the canon character of Kylo Ren was Anakin Solo.
No,
and I was very confused by
that
this.
Would be funny.
By this, yeah, I was very confused.
That's some shit they should do on April Fool's Day, though.
Maybe they'll make a Wikipedia article for SWEWF, and it'll just be like, they fucking suck.
Anyway, Star Wars.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about Star Wars anymore. We've talked enough about Star Wars today. This has been a productive episode of actually talking about Star Wars. I guess we talked a little bit about comics again, but we have talked a lot about Star Wars today. I'm proud of us. We've been trying so fucking hard to not talk about Star Wars on this podcast for weeks.
I'm not proud of us.
I'm proud of us.
I'm not proud of us. Look at what we do every week.
I'm not proud of us.
I'm not proud of us. I love everything about this podcast other than the movies, but I'm not proud of us.
Yeah. I also love this podcast. I also wouldn't say I'm proud of us.
Listen.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Listening.
This has been Star Wars every week forever. We love you all. Good night.
I fucking love you, Jay.
Hey, if you enjoyed us, thought we were funny, like our content, or just really love our suffering and want to hear more of it, we're available all over the place and release episodes every Wednesday around 12 Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and in a unique format over on YouTube that our fans seem to dig. You can join in on the conversation over on Twitter as well, at SWEWF. We're quite active and love to hear from our fans. Sincerely, though, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us on this car crash of a ride.